Good morning, everybody. Wednesday show. And it is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. And I can show you that by changing the overlay to this. Ian, good morning, man. We're going to talk Oklahoma. We're looking forward. We're going to check out their defense. We're going to talk about the way forward for our offense. But first, join Inside Texas for just $1. It is the best place for recruiting news, team news, analysis, all of that. InsideTexas.com. Join for $1 for your first week. If you click this or you pause the video, you can scan your QR code. It'll take you right to that link. It will apply the promo and all of that. Also, guys, this is awesome. So this is on Friday. Take time off work, guys. We're going to have 2 live podcasts followed by a conversation with Mac Brown and Barry Switzer at Texas Live in Arlington. 11 a.m. Oklahoma Breakdown. Those guys do a great job on their podcast. And then, of course, us next, Inside Texas at noon. 1 p.m., Mac Brown and Barry Switzer. That is going to be this Friday, guys, at Texas Live. Please come out. The event is 100% free. If you've never been to Texas Live before, it is an awesome venue. Check it out. Ian, are you going to be able to make the Texas Live podcast?
Be there.
Ian will be there. Joe will be there. Eric will be there. I believe Evan will be there. So come support, guys. Like we said, it is a free event. We hope to see you guys there. All right. Ian, composed in battle, the way forward for the Texas offense after Florida. What you thinking, man?
Well, we telegraphed this on the deep dive yesterday that everybody should watch. Many people called it the greatest YouTube podcast that's ever been recorded.
Yes,
I didn't say that, but a lot of people did.
Yeah, a lot of people said that. It's actually performing really well. People really enjoy it, so actually go check it out. It's a good show.
This thing is a little cathartic. I think I learned while making it, and I'm sure a lot of people learned from watching it. But they have to get the ball out. They have to plan to spread the field and get the ball out fast. We've seen people are like, Sark is too stubborn. He's not going to do that. Well, he did it some against Florida, and he's pivoted like every year to make the most of his offense. Like I think in the feels of that loss, Sark can do no right for a lot of people. Sark is a good coach. He knows what's going on. I'm pretty sure they're going to put their best foot forward against Oklahoma, and I'm pretty sure that will entail a lot more quick passing and opportunities for Manning to get the ball out and to have some space to maneuver. And that's absolutely what they have to do to have a chance.
Yeah, so as these options get taken off of the table, right? You're not a big stats guy, but if you watch yesterday's show with Paul, you'll see that we shouldn't have any success in the run game. So without a run game, again, likely.
That didn't shock Sark either. Like he called one run in the first 10 plays.
Yeah, I know, man. Whenever I'd see a run, I would stop the tape because it would catch me off guard how infrequently he even tried.
He knew they couldn't run the ball.
Yeah, he knew it. And that's why I wasn't that mad at him. It was try to run more. It's that wasn't the answer either. You would have got more frustrated. But you likely can't run. So what's a full strategy? Because we're talking about the passing game, but what does it actually look like whenever the run is taken away?
Well, you can manufacture ball control with quick passing. I mean, we'd see that all the time with Quinn, where they'd throw stop route outside. They'd throw quick screens, move the tight end and the running backs around, get into the 2-back sets with the mini-me running back, Keelan Robinson or Ryan Niblett, or who was the other guy that last year that they used? Was it Niblett again? Get those guys going in and out of the backfield, hit them for quick passes, easy completions. You break a tackle and you pick up. You can pick up a lot of yards, but you can definitely get 5 to 10. Now, we have seen Texas do that against a Brent Venables defense before, and it go extremely poorly.
I was going to say, man, screens to me are not the answer in this. They attack those.
So screens and perimeter passes, let's say that's for the general season.
Okay, yeah.
Against Oklahoma in particular, there has to be misdirection involved or they will jump that stuff. Mm-hmm. Oklahoma in particular has this philosophy against the spread that Venables is known for, where they have a consistent rule. If you throw a perimeter screen, their cornerback is going to jump it, and their safety is going to make them right on the back end. So they always play screens extremely aggressively, and they hit them really hard. Because when the corner is jumping it, like he's right there.
Yeah.
The angles on the block get really tough if there's not any hesitation. We saw usually the hallmark of a Texas loss to Oklahoma is that they try to run a perimeter screen early in the game, and Oklahoma blows it up and then are flexing. Well, whoever the target was is laying on the ground, helmet to the midsection. And then you just know this is going to be a bad one.
And it also gives them juice. That fires them up. You also just don't want to give them the moment to flex early.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yes and no. Yes and no. The most of the Texas games I've seen where the Longhorns won this game, they had to counterpunch after an initial surge.
Well, you have to counterpunch the whole defense. They're trying to overwhelm.
No, I mean counterpunch with a momentum swing. 2000, the big Texas wins that I always think about are 2008. They got down 14-3. Easy to forget because Shipley returned to kick, and all of a sudden it went from oh dear God, no, not again, to okay, ball game. 2018, Oklahoma scored on their first drive, and it looked easy. Easy.
What game was that? I'm horrible with naming years.
2018 was the take the L, Kyler Murray.
Okay. Yeah.
Most of the most notable wins that I remember from Texas, they had to punch back a little bit. Yeah, down 6-0. They got down 6-0 in 2009. Sam Bradford was kind of going up and down the field until a nickel blitz by Aaron Williams knocked him down on his bad shoulder and fully separated it. The game is even some of Oklahoma's wins have featured early Texas surges. That's just the nature of the game. But yeah, don't line up kill shots on early screen passes. We really got far away. We got far upfield there. Not doing good on our time today, are we?
Okay, so likely not going to be able to run. Not going to be able to substitute that with outside screens. Now what?
Quarterback runs, misdirection runs, rollout passing, misdirection screens.
Rollout passing worked for Michigan.
Quick spread, drop back, flood the field, get the ball out. Flood the field, get the ball out. Stuff like that.
We don't do a ton of that though. So what is it? We're just going to have to.
Well, we got to. So
I know what we got to do versus what do we actually show in the playbook? Because we say the quick game, and Paul points out we don't have true quick game. It's just screen, rail route sometimes, but we don't even have that this year. It's not like Niblett's lighting it up in that ideal. And then we don't have the traditional leverage. It's all it's an RPO, but we don't have, you guys talk about in the film study, there's not a ton of green grassing here. So it's what we know could work versus what we actually do is what kind of freaks me out in the passing game. I think you just have to hit deep. I think you have to test the freshmen. I think you have to throw shots.
No.
Yeah, you do. Auburn did it.
Eventually, Texas has to hit some shots to win this game.
Yeah.
They have to. That's the only way this offense can really score. But I don't want to open. I don't want to open with that. I want to save that for get going a little bit and try to get some select shots in.
I want to go bombs away on these guys because that's the only thing I've seen that is that we have that they're a weak at and we've shown we can do.
Maybe. Quarterback scramble. I think you give Arch a green light. You might even, I think Arch gets upwards of 20 carries in this game. And they can't do that every week, but this week you do that. And you actually plan on a lot of that coming just from scrambles.
How did they do? What did you think of them in handling Jackson Arnold's run game?
What?
What did you think of them with Jackson Arnold handling a mobile quarterback?
Well, that's not the same because Jackson Arnold had like one read. He played with multiple tight ends for much of the game, and they ran a lot of direct snap quarterback run, which is not the same. You can plan on defense to stop direct snap quarterback run, like wildcat quarterback run, and still get gashed on scrambles. So, like, if anybody remembers that legendary Mahomes versus Josh Allen game.
Which one?
The one where Mahomes scores and there's like a minute 30 left.
Yeah.
And then Josh Allen scores and there's like 22 seconds left. And then Mahomes scores again with Tyreek Hill. On that game, the Bills kept trying to use quarterback run, direct snap run, like quarterback power, quarterback draw kind of stuff. And Kansas City was stuffing it. But then they would just call a drop back pass and Allen would be like, oh, it's not there, and take off. And the Chiefs would get wrecked. Because it's the ultimate draw play. The Texas's direct snap quarterback run game is not that good, as we saw last week, because they suck at blocking. But you don't have to block. Your routes block for you on a scramble. So, like another example, 4th and 5. What was the play called? Beat USC.
What it wasn't? Was it a draw?
No.
It was a pass.
It was a pass that
turned into it.
Everybody on the team knew would probably be a scramble.
Yeah.
And they like flooded the opposite end of the field, and like Vince saw it, and then he just went to the open corner. So I think you plan on Arch getting like 10 runs in just from scrambles. And so to your point, you can call bombs, you can call drop back, you can call whatever, and they just plan on, hey, Sark, just make it right.
Our passing explosiveness is up to 16th in the country now.
Arch throws bombs.
So that
it's still true. He's thrown more bombs in the last 5 games than Quinn hit all of last year.
Yeah, but it's like that's such a polar game plan. It's what we have to do, but it's like the Jalen Milroe formula. Hit deep or go. That's going to be the trick. Fair weather fans ask a question. We can get back to our train of thought, but
we have a lot of questions.
Are we going to look at the running back coach and DB coach after this season? It seems like there is no development there.
I think that's unfair at DB coach. I had concerns about Akina going in that I voiced. They have not lessened through 5 games. But I wouldn't say there's no development. I'd say Gilbo looks pretty good. I'd say Muhammad improved. I'd say Taff and McDonald look better. And then Grayson Littleton is amazing as a freshman. Wardell Mack looks promising. I don't maybe it only seems like that. Like me and Connor were arguing before the show where he's like, I'm worried about the defense. And I was like, I'm not worried about the defense. And Connor was like, yeah, but you didn't think they'd be elite this year anyway. So from where I was expectations wise, when I see the development of the players and the defense, I'm like, this looks good. Looks fun.
Yeah, Ian's coming from neutral, like, so it's like, but if you're coming from this was supposed to be really good, then you have to downgrade.
They are really good though.
Yeah, it's just we're running on the standard of what the past few years have been, and I don't think that's the case. So
I think they're comparable to the last. They're not as good.
They're not. Their numbers are not
secondary as last year.
They're not comparable number wise to last year. On we're giving up way too many standards downs. We're like in the 60s or 70s in red zone defense. Like
I think that's skewed by the Florida game. We'll see. Let's see how that bears. Let's see if anybody.
Yeah, but I can allow the skewing because that's the first offense that attacked. So it's like.
Yeah, but Florida's a different. Let's see how many other teams can go right downhill on Texas.
Yeah, but I saw Florida lose the 3 previous games. Like this whole like Florida's Yeah, it's their secret Georgia. It's like I just saw 3 teams not look like that.
Florida is the only team in the last 2 years that I've seen go straight at Texas. And they did it last year too.
Mhm.
Every other team I've seen play Texas could not do that, except a little bit Georgia in the SEC championship game. And Georgia might do it again this year. I don't know exactly where they're at with that. Probably a couple other teams could do it, but this schedule, I don't know. Texas A&M, that's the one. Let's not even talk about it right now.
Let's not discuss that.
That's the one that everyone. I'm 100 times more afraid of A&M this year than I am of Oklahoma.
Yeah, as far as running back coach, that's their first year, as well as DB. But
he inherited 0 talent.
Exactly, he
and a bunch
inherited
of guys that just get injured.
Correct. He inherited rooms where the starters are constantly leaving the field. There's not a ton of talent. They're going to bring in Derek Cooper next year. It's still a longer timeline than that, but I can't evaluate running back coach at all when you're not given the ingredients and your starters have played like a combined 2 games. So it's
I've not seen anything that makes me excited about Chad Scott, but I'm definitely not going to.
Well, it's also, man, like, dude, coaches are so tied to their personnel. Like, you can think the guy's the greatest coach ever whenever they have Bijan, Rojo, Brooks, right? And so it's like that's kind of the difference too, is that it's so tied to who you got, man.
Yeah, I've learned this on a deeper level coaching flag football.
Okay, so what else about the offense? To me, it feels like there is a path, like you know what you have to do. It's just a narrow path, and execution has to be really effective, and we're not always great at that.
Well, okay, here's the thing. The offense is hitting a couple shots and scoring a couple touchdowns every game, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's been consistent, except for like maybe UTEP. That's fine for Oklahoma. Texas can beat Oklahoma with the same, we're going to score a couple times on explosive plays, and otherwise we're going to be pretty inept. That could be totally fine this week. What they cannot do is have turnovers and short fields for Oklahoma. If Texas can hit just a couple plays to score and then otherwise not ruin the game, that's fine. And then you win this game and you try to improve and figure out a little more for the next week and the next week and the next week, right? A lot of what I'm talking about with the spread is about giving them the best chance to hit shots against Oklahoma. Because I don't think Sark's max protection stuff is going to be the right way to do that against Oklahoma. And then giving them a chance at having at least a couple drives where they move the ball because they hit a couple passes for first downs, arch scrambles for a first down. You want to hit like 2 shots for scores and then like 2 drives that are either field goal or pin them. And then a bunch of other drives that can be of varying quality so long as you don't gift wrap points to the Oklahoma offense. And I think you could be looking at a victory. If Mateer comes out and torches the Texas defense, then there's not, that's it.
Yeah, we already knew that. Yeah.
The game is over. The season is over. Everything is ruined. Everything is despair. But in a realistic scenario, you just want, hold the ball some on offense, give Bo Meester a chance to kick the ball to the other side of the field, and just hit a couple shots. Does that make sense?
How many points? What's the number the Texas offense in your mind has to reach for the win? Because we're talking about explosives, but one thing, when you look at their numbers, if you hit that explosive on your 20 and then you get to the other 40, that's not enough. You have to score on these explosives, or else they just regroup and shut it down. So it's explosives are good, but they have to be scoring explosives. And so either you're going to have to hit that 80-yarder. What I worry about is getting consistently enough, getting into range to hit the explosive to score. How does Texas consistently get to the 30 of OU? enough to hit that scoring explosive. That's where you got to get into position to even hit it, I guess is what I'm saying. So that's what is.
Usually if you hit an explosive play, like a real explosive, like 40, 50 yards, it's hard not to score.
For most teams.
Well, they've done it. They've found ways to score. I mean, it just so.
Problem is our red zone offense is still bad. So it's like even if you hit that explosive.
Okay. Oh, one of the concerns in this game is that Oklahoma is good at giving up big gains, but not allowing them to be touchdowns. But in that case, if you just hit a bunch of these plays and kick a bunch of field goals, that could do it, honestly. I think you're looking at, if you get to 15 to 20 points, you have a great chance to win this game. That's it.
What if BV goes, look, we know that that's your only option. So here's 3 high, or we actually are going to sit back. Now you have to execute.
That's in one sense, that's my doomsday scenario. And I feel like there's a decent chance they do that. In another sense, that's almost good if Texas can sustain drives against it, even if a lot of them amount to nothing. And then, because then your bar for how many points you have to score goes down if you can actually control the ball and get some first downs and consistently pin them and kick some field goals.
That's a huge if.
Everything with the Texas offense.
That's what I'm saying. Like, all of this is in theory, but we don't actually do that. So that's why, like, if I'm BV, I'm going to be like, everyone's back. Go ahead. Show me you can run your offense. You know, you can't run. The quick passing game is 4 plays. It's not like a huge playbook of actually gaining ground. So it's, to me, I'm chilling, man. I'm actually I'm counting. That's going to be my wrinkle or whatever, is that I'm not going to go that hyper aggressive.
Yeah. Texas will run arch and throw underneath to injuries and whatever. And that'll be, there are ways to punish that. They could win a game like 9-6 though, if Oklahoma does that. Or 12-0. That'd be really satisfying for those of us that remember the odds.
Yeah. All right, before we keep going, though, guys, let's hear a word from Academy Sports.
Touchdown! Any gate can be a tailgate.
Any kind of final thoughts for the offense? Put it. Give me a elevator pitch, just so the fans can have it crystallized. Texas wins on offense if
they need to base in 11 personnel. I know Sark will mix in some 12 personnel to take shots. I'm just ready to live with that. I don't think that's optimal. Maybe Sark will go 12 to try to spread them out. I don't love that either. They have like a big nickel named Kendall Daniels that they'll play even against the spread. He's like, he played at Oklahoma State. He's like 6'5", 230 or something ridiculous. And they use him as like a hybrid safety. They'll like drop him deep. I want him on the field, but I want him on the field against a slot and a receiving tight end. So I want to play 11 personnel, and I want to try to hit the middle of the field with quick hitting crossers and with quarterback scrambles. Try to sit on the ball a little bit. And if you just hit a couple shots or a couple scores, however they come, you're in decent shape.
I'm taking shots on 1st and 10. I'm throwing fades.
What if they're in flyover, Connor? What if they're in flyover?
I know. I'm the one that said that. What if they do this to us, man?
But they probably
that answers it. Like that's my point. Is like if they come out aggressive, I'm taking 1st and 10 shots because they're also incredible on passing. They're like 1st in the country for passing down success rate. So if you get behind the sticks, you can't pass on them that well. So that to me is like
Texas can't do anything behind the sticks
I
against
know. But
anybody.
talk about the number one defense at it versus an offense that can't do it, right? So to me, it's like your shots have to actually be on early downs.
Yeah.
So that's where it's like, look, we need to take big shots early downs. If they go flyover, they beat us. That's kind of my thing. Like that's where I'm just going to ask BV to be cool about this and use the ego and try to be super aggressive because that's where the opportunity actually is for us.
If they go flyover, I'm just spreading them out, hitting them with quick hitting stuff underneath and running arch a lot. And that's hard to stop in the flyover. You're just banking on the other team not scoring and not converting in the red zone, which you would say, great, Texas won't do those things. But you run risks with that of Texas sitting on the ball, and Texas could score on defense in this game too. So
they could, but we can't sit on the ball. Like how are you going to sit on the ball and you can't run? And so it's like
you could maybe do it if your strategy is different than it's been in previous weeks, and you dial up the Manning runs to like 20.
What if like, and you're, hit them underneath, like what we're going to run mesh 50 times. Like we don't have a lot of underneath. We have like the comeback we saw versus Georgia. It's in the second game. That was good. And then like, we don't have a lot of like green grass, like y'all talk about. Like there's like 3 plays where we throw underneath. So and the route combinations are similar. So it's like, that's what freaks me out too, is like,
I think they have more than you are giving credit for.
What are the concepts underneath?
Well, I mean, they could run mesh a gazillion times. That sounds good to me. They have a couple of different versions of mesh. They have whip dig. They have the whip dig post deal that they hit. They have like sort of sail kind of stuff that they were running the other week. I'm sure there's in the Sark playbook, there's plenty of drop back, H option. There's tons of stuff in there. We haven't seen a lot of it, but I mean, maybe they've been saving it up for a time such as this.
Hopefully, man, because that's going to be the big key.
Arch is pretty good at it too.
I know. So yeah, but we need some more pick routes. We need some route adjustments, sit down in the green, that kind of stuff. Because when I'm thinking underneath, I'm thinking true underneath passing, like 5-yard stuff. And so it's like we have the RPO world, and some of the RPO stuff has worked against them because they'll trigger on any run action really quick. But also they can disguise, and a guy doesn't look like he's. Remember when they almost got the pick on the RPO versus Florida because the backer was in the box and then he flew outside of the box at the last second and almost got it. They can do stuff like that, but to me, there's just we haven't shown a lot of underneath options, and to me, that means it's not being practiced very much because you practice your game plan, and if they're not showing up in game plans, then you're not getting a lot of in-season reps at these concepts. So like that's where it's tricky, and it troubles me at night, Ian.
Here's one more. Ezekiel's wheel.
Have we seen that this year?
I'm not sure. I think we've only seen the playoff, the RPO off of it. That's like it's stick flat instead of post wheel or glance wheel flat. Ezekiel's wheel has tormented Oklahoma for 3 years in a row now. The catch is that if you play like flyover and you drop 8 into coverage, then the offense has to run the ball.
That is the problem with our RPO, right? You cover the pass option, and now you got to run, and now you're getting stuffed.
Yeah. But
yeah, good point. If I'm BV, I'm going to be like, we're making them run it every time.
Yes. And then I don't know what you do about that.
That's why I'm like, dude, there's like 2 things we can do, And if they run the flyover, they cancel that out completely. So it's like, ugh.
It'd be awesome if they had a brand new version of that play or crazy RPO in general, quarterback run RPO. You know what? A&M has an Ezekiel's wheel where it's a fake Ezekiel's wheel that turns into quarterback follow.
Oh, that's sick.
I would do that as many times as I could get away with in this game.
It turns into like really good blocking.
It's nasty. It's nasty because you overload the boundary with 3 receivers, and then you run the quarterback behind the running back lead blocking and 2 guys that are already dropping back.
Yeah.
Somebody ladder this to Sark. It's not that hard of an install if you already have quarterback follow.
Yeah, and if they're literally copying your core concept in the wheel. All right. Not great news, but it's just funny because all of it comes down to like Oklahoma's playing the fighting Arch Mannings. It's like Arch is going to have to run for 30. He's going to have to throw 4 bombs. They're going to have to score. It's all just like, man, it's got to be rough for Arch. He gets all like the media pressure. And then also on the flip side, it's like, hey, you're the offense now, dude. So you also need to do everything. It's pretty crazy, the situation he's in.
Well, it's been so overboard that he's getting a little bit of a swing back.
Like, yeah, people were actually defending him yesterday because it went so over the top with and if you watch the film study, you end up getting the all-22, you come away from that game with an appreciation for Arch Manning. And a lot of the fans were like, a lot of your basic, Twitter fans were just, man, Arch sucks after that. It's like, dude, you watch that all-22 and the last thing you're thinking is Arch sucks. Like, you're like, wow, Arch was the reason we were still even relevant later in that game.
Yeah, that Georgia film guy got out over his skis. And during the game or after the game, he was like, Arch is garbage.
Yep.
And then he got to the all-22 and he was deleting posts.
Yeah, but to be fair, he went on. He's like, look, I deleted my posts because they were wrong and not good to have out there.
Well, don't say it if you don't know.
Yeah, well, that's the problem, dude. Watching broadcast or listening to the announcers, because he said the announcers were talking downfield.
Don't listen to the announcers. That's a rookie
I know that's a rookie mistake for an analyst, but it's also tough when you're a cover the sport guy, and so like it cracks me up when there's a slate, after Saturday, and then like Sunday morning they're doing their show covering CFB, because I know how much time it takes to watch one game. And it's like, you guys, it's mathematically impossible. You guys watched these games, and then it's mathematically impossible that you actually were able to study these games. So what y'all are doing is box scores, or you caught a quarter of this and a quarter of that. I never listen to the let's talk about the whole sport Saturday night after the last game ends. It's just mathematically impossible that they know what they're talking about. All right.
On my 5 quick thoughts, sometimes people are like, boy, this is almost muted, but part of that is that I don't try hard not to say something I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I've done it, but now that we've had the all-22, I allow myself to go more to my emotional fan side, but I have to correct the record on the rewatch and all of that. I have to make sure that it's updating, because your feelings in game, because you're emotional because everyone's a fan, especially in a loss. But whatever you do, you have to go, look, I was wrong about XYZ that I thought I saw, or really I was just being emotional. All right. Yeah, Ian, you're funny because it's when things are going good, your 5 thoughts will be much more biting, and then whenever the things are going bad, you're much more toned down. It's like you were contrarian, but also it's like you temperature regulate well. You try to keep the balance there instead of just leaning into it. But you've been much more positive this season as we've continued to crumble, so it's pretty funny.
If Texas loses to Oklahoma,
yeah, this is the one. Ian, guys, I don't know anyone that cares about the Oklahoma game more than Ian. He wants to win that game so bad. We all do, but Ian is in if there was a 1-game season, it's OU, regardless of the other factors. So
There's no excuses for losing this game. I don't care if Arch breaks his leg on the first play. You have to find a way to compete in this game. And if you don't do that, then you're useless to Texas.
Ooh. Yeah, the problem is we're at the crossroads, right? Like the loss to OU is already a loss to OU, which sucks. But on top of that, now we're not going to make the playoffs, but Ian points out like mathematically, technically, we still have a playoff shot. We don't, but we do. That's gone. You're 0-2 in SEC. You haven't beat a Power 5 opponent this season. It's just like the pile of bad play is going to be horrific if that occurs.
I'm in like 8-4 with a win over Oklahoma would be, to me, that's kind of what you're aiming at right now.
Yeah, I think that's
I
fair.
mean, they're aiming for the playoffs. They're not out of that yet. You play to win every game from here on out. But to me, that would be like okay, like we can bounce back. This is not so far to have fallen. If you lose to Oklahoma, there's very little left on the table for the season. For some, spoiling A&M at the end of the year would be nice.
Yeah, but that's like, and it would be nice, but that you're just in such loser territory once you start getting into like, well, at least we can spoil games.
I would still, that'd be better than not, but 1,000%. It's still so far. And if you lose to Oklahoma, especially if Mateer doesn't play, then there's zero excuse.
That's the scariest part to me, that Mateer doesn't play and OU wins, then it's just like everything's gonna be lit on fire.
So Sark will be under tremendous pressure if that happens. Tremendous pressure. Like people getting fired at the end of the year baked in. That's gonna happen. People might get fired in a week.
Yeah.
But Sark himself is in danger if they lose to Oklahoma with no Mateer.
Yeah.
Like he'd probably get the chance to rebuild this offseason, but he'll be on like
he'll get a chance to rebuild, but it'll be like, yeah, it better be a quick rebuild. All right. Before we keep going, guys, let's hear a word from David McClellan.
Big financial decisions don't have to feel overwhelming. There's someone who can guide you every step of the way. David McClellan is a fiduciary financial advisor with Forum Financial, and he's working closely with his clients as a true financial life coach, guiding every aspect of your financial journey with expertise and care. If his name sounds familiar, that's because David was a swimmer at Texas and a member of several national championship teams. Today, he channels that same championship mindset into helping people win with their finances. David specializes in financial planning, and he's contributed numerous articles to Kiplinger on the topic of retirement tax bombs. And right now, David is offering viewers a free intro consultation to assess your financial situation. Do not miss this chance to get personalized guidance from a trusted expert. To schedule your free consult, email David at dmcclellan@forumfinancial.com, or you can call him directly at 312-933-8823. The contact info is in the description.
All right.
Ezekiel Swanson, hope we see your wheel play this weekend. Wondering if the real championship window is actually with Quinn. I was saying last year.
Yeah, last year was
in much of the offseason, I was like, I'm worried that they're about to waste their championship window. And they're not going to be as good in that first year with Arch. I've said this many times.
You have?
Right?
Yes. Yeah, it felt like last year was the build-up year, and then didn't happen, right? So, yeah, they
could next year. They might be able to get into that position again next year. But
it wasn't going to be first year of Arch, that's for sure. So it was either last year, potentially next year with an older Arch, but that's not
how I would phrase it.
How would you?
Well, just because I think Arch could have won last year. I think Arch could win this year. I think Arch could win next year. I don't think Arch is the holdup.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Arch with aggressive, crazy portal next year. Like the pieces around have to be top notch.
Also that I say this all the time. You need elite game changers to win championships, but you also need that supporting cast of like just solid veterans that make little winning plays, even if they're not that talented. And they do not have that this year. That's like a huge missing piece this year, obviously, especially on the offensive line.
All right, let's talk how Texas can beat Oklahoma with our defense. So talking about the Sooner offense, what are your big keys here, Ian? We got like 20 minutes to hit it.
This is why Texas fans right now, to me, feel despondent. Texas fans are approaching this game like Oklahoma is a 10-point favorite. Last I checked, and it has been moving, last I checked, Texas is favored to win this game.
What is it, 2.5 now?
It got down to 1.5. I don't know if it got back up. If you're thinking one thing and Vegas is thinking something totally different, guess who's usually wrong?
Vegas is usually right.
Vegas is almost always right, especially if there's like a really big disparity. Then that's when Vegas is really.
That's when you have to be freaked out. Yeah, when you're like, this line is too big.
That's what I've learned through years. I used to pick all the biggest games on Football Outsiders every week, and I learned that if me and Vegas were really far apart, I would almost always get those wrong. And then I was actually pretty good. If the Vegas line made sense to me, I was actually pretty good at trying to get on the right side of it. Texas is favored in this game because they have a chance to obliterate this Oklahoma offense, just as Oklahoma has a chance to obliterate the Texas offense with their own defense. The difference is that this is actually a big plus. As we noted, the only thing Texas can do on offense is score on big plays. Everything else, they're kind of garbage at, right? Oklahoma doesn't score on big plays very well this year. They're not very explosive, and they may not. And the reason that they are able to be steady, there's a good chance that guy's not playing. And the guy who replaces him is a guy who is capable of generating explosive plays for the other team. I'm gonna clip some Hawkins for Twitter later today, and you guys can see. This dude has the worst case of Mahomes syndrome I've ever seen. He does wild stuff. There's so much opportunity here for Texas.
Everything is sidearm.
Everything is it's weird. The footwork is weird. The timing is out of sync. He's kind of like he's a lot actually like Marcel Reed, only without Craver and Concepcion, and with a weak offensive line instead of the really physical one A&M has, and with a lot less poise.
That right tackle was getting cooked by Kent State. Yeah, that right tackle was getting cooked. That edge at Kent State was putting him in hell. Like, it was wild. And I did not expect to see it. I saw it one time and I was like, just kind of passing in the plays. And then you see it again and you're like, what is going on with the right tackle here, man? Has Hawkins improved at all from last year? Yeah, he's improved.
I don't know.
He's improved. I don't know. He's improved.
That's not obvious to me that he's improved.
He's improved. But it's not last year, but it's not a significant
I don't know.
Wow, what happened type of thing.
The structure around him is better, but the demands of the position and the air raid versus the aborted veer and shoot deal they were running last year, the demands of the quarterback are a lot higher. There's a lot more reading option routes in this offense. And so he could be a little bit better, but the demands are so high that the potential for disastrous mistakes is way up. It's not single read, throw, or run like last year. So in that sense, I think you could actually argue that he's worse. And the stress of the new offense is, I think, more likely to trigger Mahomes syndrome Hawkins, where he just does.
Yeah, it does suck when your new starter's only game was Kent State. Like, you would have wanted him to have like some power, even if it's a loss, not for OU because it's probably a loss, but just as far as game speed. Seeing Texas for the first time is going to be a little bit of a trip. Does he have worse Mahomes syndrome than Raiola? He technically can't because Raiola dresses and behaves and acts like Mahomes, which is a whole different level of Mahomes syndrome. But as far as Mahomes syndrome from how they throw the ball, but Raiola is like has the most like see-through, I think, on Mahomes thing ever. Is hilarious.
But Raiola is actually good at it.
Yeah.
Raiola
when he's like 28, he's gonna be like, oh god, like from the glasses and the hair, especially when they'd ask him to be like, no, I'm not that big of a Mahomes fan. It's like, all right, man.
Raiola will do like the no look pass and actually hit it. I'm telling you guys, Hawkins, I swear he yells Kobe before some of these passes. He does crazy stuff. He's just like it could be Mateer syndrome as well. Because Mateer does like the wind-up shotgun throw where he jumps in the air, which you made fun of. I actually think it makes sense why he does that.
You're talking about trying to get hip separated.
Trying to get his hips involved to get it across his body. Yeah. Hawkins does stuff
and like to be fair, he was a baseball player. So it's like
Mateer or Hawkins?
Mateer.
I bet Hawkins was too, wasn't he? Because
I don't know. But I know Mateer was. So he's doing it's a baseball style of throw.
Hawkins does it when there's zero reason to do it.
Yeah.
Hawkins is like, oh, screen pass.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, his feet are weird too. I've seen that a couple of times where it doesn't make sense why he's doing that. But all right, what about some of their weapons? What do they got that you think's interesting?
They have 3 good slot receivers, 1 or 2 of which necessarily have to play outside at times. So Jaron Kinnick is arguably one of the better slot receivers in the SEC. The only problem is that he plays tight end. Satania is a decent slot receiver. I think the scheme and Mateer make him functional. I don't think he's that great, but you have to cover him. He'll hurt you. He can catch. He can run. Deion Burks is legitimately dangerous as a slot receiver, but again, kind of more when they just are operating in space on bums. I don't think any of these guys are like, if you match them with a good defensive back, I don't think they can get open that easily. Keontae Lewis, I don't think he's going to play because got hit in the head really, really hard and had to leave the game with vague injuries 2 times in 3 weeks. The last time he smashed his head into the freaking wall in Norman's Memorial Stadium. So just don't even worry about him. Giovanni Gibson is their best outside receiver, or he was in the offseason. And then he got hurt and he missed most of the summer, all of fall camp, and all of the season up until like maybe 2 weeks ago or something when he started practicing. To give another caveat, like last week when it was like, if Dallas Wilson's awesome and Muhammad doesn't play, that could be trouble. That could definitely be trouble. And it was huge trouble.
I didn't realize the level of trouble that was going to create.
I knew because of my rules and my theories, awesome deep threat receiver. If you don't have a corner that can check him, that can change the game. That's all.
I just didn't know how awesome he was going to be, because that was his first game back as a freshman. Like, we knew in recruiting he was a baller. Everybody wanted him. But the level of what was going on there, even I was like, damn.
Yeah, it was the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
Gibson's not going to do that, but he could be trouble, especially if Muhammad doesn't play. You really want Muhammad to have a good week of practice and get amazing treatment on whatever it is he's battling through.
And then what about the run game, Ian? Is that a factor?
Garbage.
Yeah, I was going to say their run game absolutely sucks.
The biggest thing with their run game, too, is that Kinnick is a terrible, terrible blocker. Like, everyone on Texas's tight end roster that gets asked to block is a better blocker than Jaron Kinnick. Every single one of them.
That's
He's
wild.
garbage. He's garbage. Sometimes they run like duo behind him, and I'm like, what is even the point? What is even the point? Because he'll like go in there and be game and hit the guy, and he'll hit the right guy, and you're like, okay. And the guy will be like, what is this? And just start shoving him backwards. And he just gets buried.
He's just a big slot receiver and a damn good one. Over the middle, he's a problem because he can take those hits too. Like it's hard to jar the ball from him because he is a bigger player.
He should absolutely just cut weight and be full-time slot. I don't know if he has any eligibility to try to come back one more year for Oklahoma, but in the NFL, Kanik, you're a fun guy, really entertaining as a receiver. Cut down to like 215 or 220, and you could have a really nice career.
Yeah,
their offensive line is bad. I think all 5 of their guys are exploitable in the pass rush. None of their 5 guys are like a sure thing to block a good player in the run game. Texas is not as aggressive up front as Oklahoma is, so it may not be as obvious, but I think that the level of mismatch here is actually similar to Oklahoma's defensive line versus Texas's offensive line.
I disagree, but I don't think they're good. I think Oklahoma's aggression paired on top of it could end up with Texas in hell.
Yes.
I think because we have players, but we don't really attack like that. So the ending up in hell is not as likely of a destination.
Yes. You're 100% right. But can they maintain even a single drive where they have to drive the length of the field?
That's the tricky part too, because they're also not explosive.
Can they do that even one time? And so
without material ball, right?
Without material ball, even with material ball, I don't know how many times they would score.
Yeah,
honestly. So my game plan is, because Kanik is not really a tight end, you should not treat him as one. You play dime the entire game. I suggest a flyover-ish deal. So that's like Anthony Hill at Mike linebacker. You'll probably sub some. Maybe Taff at dime. Jelani McDonald at strong safety. Whoever you trust more of Filsamy and Derek Williams at free safety. Grayson Littleton at star. And then you can shift into this. You could drop the free safety into the box. You could drop, better still, the strong safety into the box. You could rotate the dime into the box and bring the star down over the slot. And you could just do a million different things. And the Oklahoma offense doesn't know, like, their whole deal is like, get the ball out fast and spread the field, right?
Yep.
It's going to be very hard for them to do that if they can't get a clean pre-snap read. And what's more, all their favorite crossing routes and everything else get really, really hard if Texas is just rotating into like 5 different versions of cover 3 with a Tapp or a McDonald or somebody just sitting, poaching the crosser from just outside of the quarterback's peripheral vision, right? I would sit in this, play the corners as tight as you dare, but don't feel the need to be over aggressive. And you could mix in some aggressive blitzing from here, but I would be like, Oklahoma, let's see if you can get even one drive down the field where you never get any easy pre-snap reads. We dare you to run the ball every play. We take away all your deeper patterns and crossing routes. And every time your quarterback scrambles, he's got like 7 guys with zone eyes who are all as faster than him converging. And I really don't, I think that they could just completely shut this thing down.
My favorite time of the week, Homer and Ian drawing up awesome defense that won't get used on Saturday.
We'll see.
Yeah, that'll be the big trick. But yeah, the whole point, like I think you pointed out in the article, the point of the spread, right, is so you can find your matchup. Like, who's the slow guy on my fast guy? And if we just present all fast guys, that pre-snap read is now not as clear.
Hey, D. Herring says, I know they're not Florida, but that's a light box. Well, not necessarily. You could drop the dime and the strong safety in there late before the snap. You still have a good defensive back on every single receiver. And then they're like, okay, fine, we'll run the ball. And then not only are they running the ball behind their crappy run blocking, but they're doing it into numbers. Does that make sense?
Did you watch Illinois State all 22? They is Illinois State, right? Their FCS team who they played?
I did actually. I watched some of the Georgia film guys deal on it. She did a good job.
Illinois State played a light box against OU's run game, and it still worked, which was crazy. So it's like
they are so bad. Like people don't understand how bad Oklahoma's run game is.
What if they go, all right, y'all are going light blocks, but everything is a Hawkins follow?
Good. Like that, they're going to pick up a couple 7-yard runs with that. Texas starts loading the box, and then now what? Okay, you're going to do that.
I agree. You can play him from a light box, but the answer
is starts calibrating the angle, and he's in the backfield every play because he's like, oh, I know exactly where they're going to go. So now I'm just going to run around to the offensive tackle and go run to the spot where they're trying to get. Did you see what he did to Florida on that series where they ran it at Simmons like three times in a row?
And then he just started juking guys like it was basketball and just like getting around.
Colin Simmons is I should have mentioned this in the article, but Colin Simmons has a chance to like really build his name this week.
Yeah. If we can do it, we're like 75th in the country in sacks. So
whatever. Sack, loss, just the whole gamut. I think forced fumbles is huge this week for Texas.
Yeah.
That's going to be, I mean, Hawkins might throw picks, but.
And they fumble a lot on offense.
And they might play a quarterback with a broken hand.
Yeah.
So, yeah. People feeling a little more optimistic yet? Like, you could be garbage on offense this week and win 3-0.
Well, that's what this game to me, like, I don't really do predictions, but this game is like 17-10. Like,
yeah.
Like that's, I don't know who's the 17 though. And so that's where it's like, that's what I got to figure out.
Ryan Nelson, Ian, are you scared this game looks like 2004 Red River rivalry? No. Ryan, I am hopeful that this game looks like 2004 Red River rivalry. Only it's just flipped. Although in that game, Adrian Peterson ran for like 200 yards. But they had to kick field goals every time. So that's a little different. I don't think either of these teams, I guess our Arch could get like 300 yards of total offense, but never score a touchdown. This is the good week for normally Sark is really smart about chasing touchdowns. This week, Sark let my Liberty Hill brother Shipley kick field goals.
Yeah, take points. If OU's offensive MO is to get the ball out quick, should we not heat up Hawkins? Didn't we do that last year?
Their MO is to get the ball out quick. Hawkins is not reliable at actually doing that. I don't think either team should blitz that much because neither team really needs to. If you get anytime you get Simmons matched up on Derek Simmons, the right tackle, you don't need to blitz on any play like that.
Yeah. All right, Sugarcane Daddy, not the crop. Thank you. Any guesses at OU's offensive wrinkle?
That's a good question. I don't know that they have offensive wrinkles for this.
I'm throwing it to Kanik over the middle, and I'm letting him take a shot. I'm throwing it up, and he's going to take the shot, and he's going to come down with the ball.
Okay. But the wrinkle that me and Connor are both anticipating is flyover from the Oklahoma defense, and particularly a 4-down flyover.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you want maybe a stand-up edge that can drop out every once in a while. But if I'm Oklahoma, the old Belichick rule says you drop into coverage against good quarterbacks and you blitz bad offensive lines. So you turn if an offensive line, you just overwhelm them with pressure because then they really deteriorate. So if I'm Oklahoma, I want to do that, but I want to do that either by blitzing in groups of 4 or 5 from the flyover, and I want to have 4 true defensive linemen on the field so that I can also just slant and stunt with my 4-man front and see if Texas can even block that before I worry about
They
the
can't.
linebacker. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Taylor Wine, everybody watch out for him. There's always like some like oaky former wrestler white dude on the Oklahoma defensive line that's like a high motor, secretly really destructive player. This year it's Taylor Wine. He's really good. David Stone is disturbingly good.
Yeah, I was not excited to see what David Stone was doing to people.
Dude, what the heck?
Dude,
He's like
he looks awesome.
almost bailed on the program and then like came to Jesus. And now he's sending people to Jesus.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Very,
All right,
very.
All right, y'all. Join Inside Texas for $1 single. You guys can hang out. All the game threads are always incredible. Also, more analysis from Ian and Paul. Recruiting updates. You're trying to play some defense in the recruiting world, maybe snag somebody late. And then, of course, team news, all that jazz. And then these guys, Friday, come hang out. It is totally free. 11 a.m., Oklahoma Breakdown live podcast, followed by our live podcast at noon. And then the big dogs, Mac Brown and Barry Switzer, 2 entertaining guys. It is at Texas Live, which is in Arlington, Friday, October 10th, 11 to 2 p.m. Call off work, guys. You don't have to work on Fridays. That's just that's a social construct. Chat. Thank you, guys.
Can we do quick rapid fire questions and I'll let you go? Connor's got a lot to do, guys.
Yeah. What do you want?
UCLA gave the flyover blueprint, and yes, a running quarterback is part of it, 100%. But you still got to block a little bit. So, RJ, should we do more no huddle this game? Only selectively after big plays. Because you want to shorten this game and give your defense a chance to drop like a goose egg, or only let Oklahoma have a chance to score like 3-6 points or whatever. So you don't want to go fast a lot. But this team probably can't move the ball consistently without some huddle. So anytime you hit a big pass or a big play, you should get some huddle just to maximize that opportunity on that drive. Otherwise, take your freaking time, huddle. Don't let Oklahoma steal signs.
Those were your rapid questions. You got those quick. All right, chat. Thank you guys so much. Ian, thank you as well, guys. And beat Oklahoma. Please beat OU. Have a great day, y'all. Peace.